Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be doing a character spotlight. Now, specifically a Marvel character spotlight, and I haven't done a character spotlight in a long time. So I'm glad to be getting back to it, especially with Death Battle closing, and I'll be doing it probably until they start back up again. So I'll be doing at least one video per week, except for the week that What If comes out, but overall I'll be doing at least one per week. So let's get right into it. So this Marvel character spotlight is actually of Sebastian Shaw. Now, Sebastian Shaw, sorry, is was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, after his father, Jacob Shaw, fled to the United Kingdom. He was raised in poverty, being forced to work in one of the local steel mills. His father secretly worked for Mr. Sinister and was obsessed with restoring their family's fortunes. Now, despite his humble origins, Sebastian proved himself as a genius and was eventually accepted into the Stevens Institute of Technology with a full scholarship. While toasting his father at a local bar following his death, he was attacked and beaten by some rich kids, jealous that a working class man would go to college. It was during his attack that his mutant powers manifested, allowing him to absorb kinetic energy and release it against his assailants. Now, by the time he graduated, everyone wanted a piece of the hot young talent. In the ensuing years, his incisive mind and get it done attitude became the cornerstone upon which many struggling corporations would depend on. His diverse knowledge in the fields of economics and technology allowed him to start his own business, Shaw Industries. By the age of 30, he had earned his first million, and by 40, his first billion. Now, during this time, he became romantically involved with a woman also involved with a fellow mutant, Harry Leland. When Shaw learned that she had born a son, Shinobi, he raised the infant as his own, even though he knew it was Leland's child. After some time, he met Lords Chattel shortly before his trip to Afghanistan, and the two fell madly in love. Now, in America, Shaw was invited to join the Hellfire Club, of which his father had been a member, something which Lords did not support. She tried to sway Sebastian away from the club and its leader, Ned Buckman, fearing that it might corrupt her lover, but she was unsuccessful. In the club, he became friends with Leland, and with time, Shaw also grew closer to Buckman, eventually raising to the rank of Black Bishop. Shaw and Lords later got engaged, but she secretly wanted out. When Buckman betrayed Shaw by sending sentinels to hurt him and his allies, Emma Frost saw an opportunity and decided to help his wife, by making Shaw and Leland believe that she had died saving Shaw. This led Shaw to kill Buckman and take over the Hellfire Club as its new Black King. With Leland eventually becoming the new Black Bishop, after the dust had settled, Emma met Lords, pronouncing her name wrong, Shaw's wife, and was sent her to Wilson Fix, also known as the Kingpin, so he could fix her with a new identity and leaving Shaw oblivious of the real fate of his fiancée. Later, when he was searching for a new White King, he threw a party which he invited the most influential men in the world and tried to decide who was the most fit for this position. Rejecting the candidacy of Tony Stark, he chose Prince Namor of Atlantis. He invited him to join the club, but Namor rejected the proposal, saying that if Sebastian ever dared to waste his time with such a minor thing again, he would kill him. Now this really ticked off Sebastian, so he ordered Emma to force Namor into the club no matter what the cost. And after 2 weeks, he did not hear anything from her, so he decided to send Sentinels after her. Now the Sentinels attacked Namor, Emma, and Atlantis, and now Namor took this as a declaration of war. And after finding that despite the Sentinels' previous attacks, Shaw was the one that deployed these ones. Um, Emma and Namor clashed with Shaw, Donald Pierce, and Tessa. Tessa mind-wiped Emma to erase her memories of her betrayal and made her loyal to the club once again. Now surrounded by two telepaths, Shaw explained to Namor that he would never get close enough to kill her. Namor left, but vowed to take his revenge one day. Now, as the leader of the inner circle of the Hellfire Club, Shaw started plans to dominate the world through force, money, and power, and his connections to top officials of corporations and government acquired via the club. And though his position as CEO of Shaw Industries made him a powerful enemy, Ironically, Shaw was for many years a major supporter and builder of the Sentinels, figuring that it would be better to be in control of them than not. And during this activity, he had frequent contact with Senator Robert Kelly and Henry Griffith. To both, he appeared to be an anti mutant human bigot. Secretly, however, Shaw continued his plans, some of which involved Black Air and an unnamed group of time manipulators. Um, he has played many parts throughout the entirety of the Marvel Universe. He played a key part in the corruption of the Phoenix into the Dark Phoenix. He also was ousted from his position as Black King, who installed Blackheart in his place. Although the arrangement did not last long, he has since returned to his power and attempted to use Lady Mastermind to control Tessa, who now has been called Sage, and the team of X-Men who were searching for the Destiny prophecies. He had been attempted to be assassinated multiple times. During the M Day series, he was one of the few mutants who retained his powers after the events of M Day. He at one point was a prisoner of Norman Osborn. Um, he made sure that at certain points, actually, sorry. So he was a prisoner of Norman Osborn, and at one point, his memory was actually wiped away. During many times, it took a long time for him to regain his memory, and once he actually gained his memory and his place back inside the inner circle of the Hellfire Club, in light of the Mpox crisis, Shaw and the Hellfire Club aligned themselves with Magneto's X-Men, which led them to Master of Magnetism which led to the Master of Magnetism assuming the role of the White King once again. As one of the richest men in the world, he regularly attend a meeting at the Universal Bank in Switzerland to discuss global affairs. Um, Deadpool accidentally broke into the Hellfire Club, but Shaw forgave him and allowed him to leave peacefully. So he was killed at one point because of Emma Frost, was resurrected at some point as well, where he eventually welcomed the new mutant island of Croca, which was created by Xavier, Magneto, and Moira X. He entered through a teleportation gateway along with other various villainous and fractitious, mutants, who had also been invited to join the nation in order to heal mutantdom and start over as a united people. He also became the Black King of the Hellfire Trading Company, which was charged with distributing miracle drugs all over the world. This allowed Shaw to gain a seat in the governing body of the Quiet Council. He was charged with dealing with external conflicts of Kuroka. Shaw wanted to eventually gain control of the entire Hellfire Trading Company. When Shinobi was resurrected, he hoped to assert his power by making him the Red King. But when Emma Frost appointed Kate Pride as the Red Queen of the company, this became a huge obstacle in his plans. Shaw thought that Kate's inability to pass through the gateways also meant that the five would be would be unable to resurrect her if she died. So he hired an anti-mutant group to attack Shinobi in order to lure Kate out and ambush her. After immobilizing the dragon, and dropping him into the water, Shaw wrapped Kate in plants that nullified her powers and sunk her into the water. Lockheed was able to survive, but Kate drowned to death. His treachery was exposed to Emma Frost when she read Lockheed's mind. So, because of that, he thought Kate could not be resurrected, but he was incorrect, and she was brought back after 18 attempts by phasing through her cocoon rather than breaking out of it. After the Crokin's contest was done, Emma and Kate confronted Shaw. They invaded his house at Blackstone and neutralized his power so they could freely beat him without fear of reprisal. While Emma poured herself a drink and relaxed, Kate used her powers on Shaw without mercy, and when she was done, Storm arrived with Lockheed, who bit out Shaw's eye and threw it in the fireplace. To finish their glorious revenge, they served him with a poisonous drink that left him crippled and unable to walk, but still capable of listening to them and understanding how he had lost everything he had hoped to achieve. Shaw was spared from being imprisoned in the heart of of the new nation, but was confined in a wheelchair. As per the agreement, Emma and Sebastian, uh, As per an agreement with Emma, Sebastian was restored to full health after the Hellfire Gala. After his resurrection, Sebastian began plotting to send a Cerebro unit back into time in order to aid in resurrection of his lost love, Lord Chattel. Prompted by Xavier, Emma finally revealed that she was still alive and told him what had happened on the night of her supposed death. When Mystique went to him to try to coerce him into voting her wife Destiny to take over Apocalypse's seat on the council, he told her bluntly that he knew what she was doing and didn't care about the result one way or the other. Then she asked that she could offer him what she could offer him to make him say yes. And she replied that there was no object she could give him. He responded, sorry, that there was no object she could give him that he couldn't simply buy himself. So instead, she asked him to just simply say yes because Emma would likely say no. However, in the actual meeting, Emma voted yes, and immediately after he did, as Mystique had gotten to her as well. So she actually tricked him into voting Destiny in. And that is his history in the Marvel Universe. And he's been a character that's been around since 1979, and he's played a big part in all of this since, well, for a long time. He's had a live action debut played by Kevin Bacon in X Men First Class, and who knows what we might see in the future of the new MCU. Now, Sebastian Shaw is a alpha level mutant with the following abilities. Energy absorption. He has the superhuman ability to absorb kinetic energy, metabolize it, and to enhance his own physical strength, speed, and stamina. This makes him extremely difficult to defeat in battle, as every blow struck against him only makes him stronger. Unusual tactics are required to defeat him, usually by incapacitating him or attacking him psychologically. He has an enhanced metabolism, so he can forego sleep if he receives enough kinetic energy. Often he will have his mercenaries pummel him to give him enough stored energy that he need not sleep for some time. Isn't that fun? He has enhanced durability. He can still be crushed or cut, but cuts are superficial because he saps the blade of all its thrusting and cutting energy. Shaw is adept at not letting enemies realize his power until they have hit him too many times. Hitting Shaw is often described as punching a mattress. He has enhanced strength, mostly due to his power of absorbing his energy, basically. Same thing with enhanced speed, enhanced stamina, and a regenerative healing factor. He is healed from being hit repeatedly in the nose by Colossus in less than an hour. However, his healing factor may not heal catastrophic injuries, such as a blast to the head or a broken neck. Now, he's one of the few mutants who has a secondary mutation, but it is always something that Hellfire Club services um, want in their, I guess you would say, their leadership. So he was given a second mutation, which is the embodiment of energy conversion. Magneto describes the Black King's secondary mutation as the absorption of kinetic energy around him into himself and eliminating the need to build up his own kinetic stores by physical activity. He also has energy wave emissions, concussive blasts, and energy enhanced strikes. He's a skilled combatant, a skilled leader, and one of his weaknesses is his powers limitations. His powers can be overloaded by too much flux of power, like being hit by too many superhumanly strong punches at once, specifically being attacked by like the Hulk. Like a great many secondary mutations gifted, um, those who have it suffer a caustic backlash, which disables the powers and abilities of the affected mutants. In the Black King's case, his newfound power came at a cost of draining energy from any and all sources beyond merely kinetic, even draining the very bioenergy from his cellular matrix, causing bodily deterioration in the form of accelerated aging. So he has to be careful. And at one point, he was paralyzed, which we already talked about. And as always, Marvel has a power grid. And in this power grid, it's always out of 7. So his intelligence is a 3, which is considered learned intelligence. His strength is normally a 2, which is normal. But because of the amount of kinetic energy he can absorb, it can be a 7, which is incalculable. His speed is a 2, which is considered normal. His durability is a 2 normally, which is also normal. But then, because of his mutant ability and his absorption of kinetic energy, he's virtually indestructible. His energy protection is none, which I find odd because he has the ability to shoot energy blasts, so that's interesting. Um, and he has some training, which his fighting skill is a 3. So overall, that is Sebastian Shaw, and the reason why we're doing a character spotlight on him has to do mostly with the fact that he is the season pass of the latest um, season pass of Marvel Snap, which is why we decided to do a character spotlight on him. So let me know if there's a character you would like me to do a character spotlight on in the future. Just let me know in the comments below, and I'll gladly do one. Other than that, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.